if you are looking to start a business and you want to serve this type of target audience, this is your target customer, but you never interact with that target at any time. You're telling them what they want. You're building things based on what you think their wants and needs are. But when are you tapping into them to really see what they desire?
I think it's important to break down all the things that that business had to go through to have those products there, which is being able to fulfill those huge POs, being able to not get paid for 60 days, and also being able to invest in marketing.
And I found through this process that 2 out of 3 of Black owned businesses don't make it to the 5th year anniversary because of that accessibility, that awareness, and those resources.
2 out of 3?
2 out of 3.
Sabrosura pa' ti que.
Hola, hola, welcome to Café con Pam, the bilingual podcast que comparte nuestras historias sin censura, the podcast that shares our stories without being censored, unmuted. Yo soy Pam Covarrubias, and today we have a conversation with my friend Tasha Hayes. Tasha's unwavering commitment to her community is evident when you step into the Black Print. True to this, not new to this, she is a longtime champion of optimal outcomes for her community. The Black Print embodies deep-seated desire to uplift, celebrate, and unify the Black community and to create the safe spaces she saw as a newcomer to Wichita, Kansas. Her work is guided by Maya Angelou's personal mission to not merely survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. Listeners, I actually went to college with Tasha. And when I learned that she started this business, I was like, we need to have this conversation. And of course, because life, we didn't have the conversation until a few years after the Black Print was in existence, which I think it was all when it was supposed to. This conversation happened when we were supposed to have this conversation, and it was awesome. I had a lot of fun catching up with her and truly rebuilding this connection that we had a long time ago. We were roommates in college. And so I hope you enjoy this conversation. We shared some data. We talked about the challenges we face as people of color and communities that don't have access to a lot of things. And I think what I left with was being so inspired to truly support one another, because that's the only thing we can do many times. We can do more, but sometimes the only thing we can do is buy from your local candle maker or from your local whoever. Pero bueno, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Tasha Hayes. Tasha, welcome to Cafe con Pam.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you for being here. So you and I go way back.
Like both fats on a Cadillac.
Yeah, like 20 has it been that? Oh my gosh.
Next year.
Next year's our 20-year, like, from graduation?
Yes.
Hmm.
No, 20 years. Well, okay. Well, 20 years since I arrived at MOS. Let's say that.
Okay, we met sophomore year?
I know. I'm trying to like take my memory back. I don't remember, Pam.
So, but just to give the listeners a little context, we went to college together and we were roommates, actually. You were
Yes.
one of two roommates. We were three of us. It was three of us. Remember that time? Or did you like erase it from your memory?
No, there was. That was my last stint before I moved back to Kansas City. So yeah, that was. I think that had to be year 3.
Yeah? And we lived together for a year or 2 years?
A year.
Was it a year?
Because I started in the dorms and then I moved. The first year was dorms, second year apartment, and then third year apartment with you.
Mm. And it was,
Mm-hmm.
yes, because my senior year, the unnameable moved in.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Yes. So we lived together for a year. That was a lot of fun. You were working all the time. So I do you remember?
So nothing's changed.
Correct. Correct. Because I was reading your questionnaire and I was like, nothing's changed. Indeed.
That is funny, Pam.
So you were going to college. You didn't work on campus, but you were working at UPS at that time.
Yeah. So I was working at UPS at that time on the overnight shift. So I would work like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. or something like that overnight time. I thought that, I can go to class during the day, have a little time to mingle and be social in the afternoon, and then go work. Like, what was wrong with me?
I know. Like literally team no sleep, you thought.
I thought,
I know. And then we were loud and you would get mad at us because you
oh, is
needed
that
to
what
sleep.
happened? I apologize. That was so long ago. We're talking about like 18 years ago.
I know.
A
Wild
lot has happened
times.
in 18 years.
A lot has happened. So graduated, moved. So you're originally from Kansas City.
Yes,
Go Chiefs.
KCK.
Are you a Chiefs fan?
Yes, absolutely. The whole world is at this point, let's be honest.
Right. I know. I was talking to my brother about this and he was like, yeah, nobody likes, like, once you get a team that like wins all the time, everyone's like, ew, but
Absolutely.
whatever. We knew the Chiefs before they were what they are now.
Exactly.
And fun fact, the college that we went to is the host of their training still. Still?
Yes, still, but they weren't when I was there. They weren't the host of their training camp.
Did you graduate before me?
No, well, I didn't graduate. So let's just clear this up. I didn't graduate from Missouri West.
Yes.
I didn't graduate. I transferred
That's
to uni.
right. You were so annoyed.
Yeah, I was so.
You were like, I'm working overnight shifts. These women don't let me sleep. I have to bounce.
I changed my major, and I was like, well, since I'm changing my major and dang near starting over, I might as well start at a new school. So I moved to Kansas City, Missouri, and went to the University of Missouri, Kansas City, UMKC. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's where you ended up graduating from.
Yes, that's where I graduated with my bachelor's in criminal justice, and then stayed in Kansas City for a little bit and got my master's.
How did you make it to Wichita?
Fun fact. Well, my dad has lived in Wichita since I was 1 years old. 1 years old, and we have been talking. Like my siblings here, we're doing a lot with child advocacy and things of that sort. And I was in Kansas City doing the same thing. So we thought, well, why don't we come together and build something? So then I moved to Wichita, Kansas,
To build.
a business with my family to
Is
start a
is it the
business.
current business or a different
It is a different one. Yes,
one?
that we actually didn't build because then the pandemic.
Mm.
Yes. And so, yeah.
Life changed. One more
Yeah,
time.
life change again. Yeah, yeah. So, and then I got really engaged and active in the community and then started on the current business that I work on.
So, which I wanted to bring up the fact that you worked all the time when we were in college. I worked all the time, but we had like different life. Like you worked the overnight shift, and I think literally you would come in, just be like, hello, go in your room, get changed, and go to work. Or like sometimes sleep. I don't know. We probably didn't let you
Mhm.
sleep. And literally we would tell you like, Tasha, you're working so much. And you'd be like, so? Like, what's it to you? You know, like it's just the life I'm building. And
And here I am still building.
correct. Correct. And so when you got with your family and you were like, all right, let's build something, you had been in Kansas City for a while and you moved to Wichita, which for the listeners, Wichita, Kansas is what's the population?
300,000 ish, maybe. Is the largest city in Kansas. I will say that. I know a lot of people think that Kansas City, Kansas is. However, Wichita is larger than Kansas City, Kansas.
Okay, so there's Wichita, Kansas, 396,119 people as of 2023. So you were right.
Hmm. Yes.
Kansas City is 500,000. Now, Kansas City is weird because it's a split between like half the city is in Kansas and half the city is in Missouri.
Correct. So that's where a lot of us get confused because the actual portion that's in Kansas City, Kansas is smaller than Wichita. And when we're talking about Kansas City, Missouri and Kansas City, Kansas, that's when we get this picture of it being larger and
Because it's
more
combined.
populated. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of wild to think about that one city is divided by two states, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yes.
It's very confusing. So you make it to Wichita and you start planning with your siblings. Let's build something for the community. What was the idea that then the pandemic was like, oh, no,
Mhm.
you're not?
Right. So the idea was a group home.
Okay.
Yes. So my brother and sister-in-law and a couple of my siblings worked at group homes, large scale group homes in Wichita. I worked at for the Department of Corrections in Johnson County, Kansas, where I focused a lot on child in need of care, child rehab and treatment centers, and juvenile delinquency. And so all this kind of mashes together. We thought we're doing a lot of good work. We don't necessarily like how these systems are built. So let's bring all of our experience together and build a system on a smaller scale that can be more individualized and really focus on the needs and the gaps that the other systems can't offer because they're so large.
I love that.
Yeah, and I graduated with my master's in public administration in May, and then I moved to Wichita that August following my graduation.
Luego, like immediately almost.
Immediately. I think it may have been like a thought, a conversation actually at my graduation party in May. Then I was like, let me think on it. And then by like June, July, I was like, okay, let's do it. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, I packed up and I this is another thing. I had just bought a house like a year and a half before that. And
In Kansas
so
City.
in Kansas City. And I was like, we're putting all these eggs, we're doing this thing, and packed up and came on down the road, came south to Wichita. I took my talent south to Wichita.
What did you do with the house?
I sold it.
Oh.
I would try to get it, find a renter, tried to like, do some, it was just a lot of work. And I'm thinking, how am I going to manage that from Wichita? Um, and 2.5 hours doesn't seem like that long, but I just didn't
But
feel
they're
like I would
long.
have the capacity. Right.
They are long. So now, just because I have a little bit more context, I didn't know you had siblings from your dad's side.
Yes. So my dad had two kids before he got married in Kansas City. He had two kids, a girl, myself, the girl, and I have a brother in Kansas City from my dad. And then my dad had two kids with his wife when he moved to Wichita and got married. And then his wife had two kids prior to them getting married. So there are six of us.
Wow. So I only knew your sister from your mom.
Yes, which that's my mom in Kansas City. Um,
Correct.
yeah, so I grew up with my mom in Kansas City. So Taj, who just turned 30 last month.
Oh my gosh.
I
Oh,
know.
she was like so little.
I know. She lives in LA.
What? Do you come?
Yes. Yes, I've been there.
Why
I
haven't you
text
called me? Rude.
I did. I did call you. I did text you.
You did.
I think I text you when you're like, okay, I don't
First
remember what
moved.
happened. So let
Well,
me.
LA's 2 hours from here.
Yeah, I was thinking I was gonna say you said it was a little far.
Yeah. But next time you come, we'll
Hmm.
make it happen. Or come to San Diego. We have
Yes.
really fun
Well,
places.
we have really fun places. I know I need to get down there more. I was supposed to be in Napa at the end of this month for the music festival, but I'm gonna change my. I gotta do some other stuff. That's a different story too.
Napa's really far. That's the other thing that with California, like people think that, oh, I'm in San Francisco. And I'm like, yeah, that's 10 hours away. Like it's not.
Like I can't come see you tomorrow.
No, that
Right.
requires some planning. Okay, so sister is 30, wild. She's in LA. OMG.
Yes. Yes, she's teaching dance. She's a trainer. She does like spin and Pilates. So doing a lot of fitness training. She dances, teaches kids dance, and then she's also doing some dancing herself. So She was at Beyonce last night.
Oh,
Yeah,
how fun. That's really fun. I bet you got fun videos and pictures.
I did. I got a FaceTime at like 10:30 my time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to go to bed.
Yeah, but I'm sure it was worth it.
It was.
Okay, so did you always have a relationship with this other side of the siblings?
Yeah, so it was like a summer type of travel. Come spend a week or two in the summer, then go back to Kansas City. Growing up, and then as of course we went to college and went away. Didn't really have that. Didn't spend as much time building those relationships, but graduating. My brother went to Ottawa, which is not that far from Kansas City. He went to Ottawa University, so I had ability to build a better relationship with him while he was that close. And then, yeah,
So pandemic's like, you're not gonna create this thing, and you're already in Wichita. You uprooted and you were like, let's go. How did the idea of the black print come up?
yeah, so moving to Wichita, trying to find my footing. The only people I really knew in Wichita were my siblings. So I had five siblings. I had a sister that lived in Colorado. My stepsister lived in Colorado. She also relocated to Wichita at that same time.
To build this thing?
Yes, we're doing this thing. She
Like
moved.
everyone was committed.
All hands on deck. We need all
Dang.
hands. Yes, so she moved. She had just retired military. Um, and I moved, and then of course we have four other siblings that are here, or three other. I'm sorry, my other brother still lives in Kansas City. Um, so we're all doing it, and pandemic hit. So we kind of all just kind of try to figure out what's next. Like we're shut down. I find a job in the schools. I become a middle school educator. Um, my sister, she starts working some in different spaces as well, and my other siblings still had their other jobs. So trying to find rooting, grounding my space in Wichita during the pandemic was difficult as it is, but also I just couldn't tap into my community. Like, where are they? My father is a pastor, so at church, of course, you naturally build those relationships. But outside of that, I knew no one. So I reached out to like urban professionals and became engaged in those communities, which led me to then get engaged with like Juneteenth and different festivals and other things in the community that were sparingly meeting. Um, and when you go there, there are so many creative entrepreneurs, hundreds of vendors, booths everywhere. I mean, you're seeing everything from, of course, you have your apparel and clothing to body oils to building apps and all across the board. So many creative and innovative individuals. Black Business Month, you see a lot of different pop ups that are being held outside. Again, festivals, going to those spaces. So many amazing people and that are talented. But once you leave those spaces, it's hard for you to tap into the community
Mm.
because there is no hub. There's no really anyone bringing awareness to the different brick and mortars that are available. So I would just always felt like, man, someone's got to create a hub. What are we doing outside of these festivals? What are we doing? I would try to whisper in people's ear, like, you should. What about this idea? How can we? And everybody's like, yeah, good idea. Okay, I'm doing my own thing. So after 2 years and coming out of the pandemic, I was finally like, fine, I'm going to create this space
Okay.
that I know our community desires. And that's when the Black Print was born.
What was the first step you took besides getting the idea?
Honestly, right after I got the idea, I started looking at spaces. I'm like, what kind of space would be conducive to an idea like this? Like, what's the right part of town? I met with some influencers. I worked with a council member that represented mostly the Black African American district here in Wichita. Talked to him kind of about what space would be good. Most of us are here, but what does it look like? What would that feel like? Like, what are some ideas? We also have a Create campaign, which is a entrepreneur kind of incubator. They serve
Mm.
entrepreneurs in several different ways. I went to her and asked some of those same questions. Like, what are you hearing from the entrepreneurs that you're serving when they're coming to talk to you about brick and mortar? What are they saying? What do you think the hot spots are? What would an entrepreneur need in order to get their items into a retail store? What are the barriers that they're currently facing when they're trying to get into retail stores? So, having conversations with the people that are born and raised, have been in Wichita for years, have seen the ups and downs, and then also current Black owned businesses that are in brick and mortars.
Mm,
What are you experiencing having a brick and mortar? There's some people like, don't do it.
right.
Don't do it. And then, but a lot of people were very helpful. There wasn't like any gatekeeping. My main fear was that I'm not from here. So, what does that look
That's
like
what I was
for,
going to ask.
yeah, what does it look like for a transplant to come here and then been here 2 or 3 years and now you're creating businesses where you're bringing our community together when you're not from
Right.
here?
Who are
How
you
can
to
you,
do this?
yeah, how can you tell us what we need? How can you tell us what we want? And so I think it took me so long to even get out there and start having those conversations because I was afraid of that.
How did you overcome it?
Having those conversations and I think building relationships, I was in a lot of spaces at that time. At that moment, we're coming out of the pandemic. Um, so I'm in a lot of different spaces on a lot of boards. And so I've kind of tapped in with community members that would be supportive
Mm,
of such idea and also yearn for those same things to have community and to build community in that way. Um, and I think their support really pushed me because they're born and raised here. So, it's cool. You're a Kansas City and you're coming here and you're telling us what we need. But when you support this idea, I think that was the head nod that it's okay to move forward.
so let's dissect that piece because I think it's important and key to you choosing to start it when you did. You were involved. So I think maybe could we say that the first step is you got involved in the
Mhm.
community.
Yeah, so I think, and what I see in a lot of spaces, I've worked in government, I've worked in nonprofit, I worked in now retail and things of that sort, is that a lot of people aren't in proximity to the
Mm,
community they're trying to tap into. They in proximity in different ways from if you are looking to start a business and you want to serve this type of target audience, this is your target customer, but you never interact with that target at any time. You're telling them what they want. You're building things based on what you think their wants and needs are. But when are you tapping into them to really see what they desire?
for sure.
So that could be, I mean, I'm showing up to Juneteenth and I'm having conversations with those hundreds of vendors that are there. That's me showing up to Black Business Expo, purchasing from them, building relationships with them, testing their products to see really if this is the quality that we're looking to have in this space. I mean, it would be one thing if I just showed up and said, "Here's the Black print. Come bring your stuff in here." But it's different when I've spent 2 years building these relationships and being in those spaces. Not, "Hey, I want your items to be in the store,"
Right.
but, "Hey, I want to know more about the story behind your product. Tell me why you started this business." So literally building genuine relationships. And the thing is, a lot of the things that I started out in the store were products I was using. So the hair oil, I had been using it for 2 or 3 years
From a local business.
from a local business owner. The candles, I had been purchasing them with for my own home. The room spray, I mean, a number of things. Beard oil, my brother has been supporting this business for years and he's telling me how great it is. So now I go and he introduces me and we already had that commonality. So it wasn't, again, I was personally using them and building those relationships, not just, "Hey, I'm building this space and I want you to come over here and bring your skills, gifts, and talents over here, but I'm supporting you so you see that this is genuine relationship."
I love that. And the other thing that you chose to have a retail space, which is like literally after we had a complete global shutdown. And so, is there a reason why you chose to have a retail location where like people would get like bodies in the store versus an online marketplace?
Right. I think that two different things. Again, when I'm at Juneteenth and we're there, you have the ability to talk to them, get their stories, and build that relationship. Even if I wasn't the owner of a store, as a customer, I enjoy doing that. And so if you want to continue to purchase that item, you reach out to them maybe on social media, and you go meet at Quick Trip. You're in the parking lot doing your little deal, and things of that and things of that sort to keep those things. So having a physical location where you can come see, smell those items was important to me.
Yes.
And the spaces that I have seen a lot of times is more set up like a flea market style. And I didn't want to create any division between the products. I wanted to be one cohesive story
I love
about all the innovators, all the creators, the story behind the products. There's when we started, we had all the products and their story from the entrepreneur themselves.
that.
And sometimes that's something you can't translate online through an online store.
Yes.
We're really big in that see, feel, smell. Um,
It's like a 360 purchase.
Absolutely. And then it also is a different impact when you can visualize all these amazing products from all these different entrepreneurs that are right here in your community.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that you can translate online to a website. A lot of them already had some type of online store or online platform that they were working on building. But the barrier and the challenge is really getting your products on a retail shelf.
Mm.
It's not the fact that I can't get an online platform, because that's accessible to most entrepreneurs.
Yep.
But getting your stuff on a shelf is where there are so many challenges. Um, and I found through this process that 2 out of 3 of Black owned businesses don't make it to the 5th year anniversary because of that accessibility, that awareness, and those resources.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
So it's more than 50%. I don't know what the percentage, but it's way more than 50%. That's
Yes.
wild.
Yes. Hmm. So when you create a space like that, that's not only I can accessibility because I can see the products they're here on the shelf, but then what type of resources can we offer the entrepreneurs? What type um, of marketing and stuff can we back them with, not only on our platform but their platform? It just goes into a whole kind of streamline for those entrepreneurs to do some wraparound support. There may be some that come and their products aren't retail ready, but how do we get them there? It's not like, no, your products can be on the shelf, but how can we support you in getting your packaging right, your pricing right? It really is that whole holistic support system that's provided when you have your items in a store space.
Big time. So, because we've been talking about how you love working, um, when you started, did you have a full time job?
Yes, I did. When I
I'm sure
started, I
you
had a
did.
full time. I had a full time plus.
Of course, on brand. On brand.
So yeah, at that time I was working for the city of Wichita full time, and that's supporting the district council person. So that's when we're really
And
the no, that's one
that was a
thing.
role. Okay.
Yeah, that was
What was
that
a
role.
plus?
And then the plus was I worked at a literacy organization here locally as well, helping them to create programs, program development type of thing. Um, and so that was part time. So yes, I was doing both
And building the business.
and building the business. And I don't know, like you're making me think a lot about all my work as I'm talking. I'm like, dang girl, you be doing a lot. But
You do.
you're making me think like, dang Pam. But no, I was doing all that, and then truthfully, when I made the decision to really move forward with this plan, that was in August. And I wanted to be open before Christmas.
Okay. She has goals, everyone. She has goals.
I have goals. So in October is when I had a soft launch, and then the 1st of November 11th is when I opened. So from
Wow.
August to October is the time that I spent really grinding. I mean, that's going out. I met with every single entrepreneur individually, really had to provide them with the expectations from both parties. How do we support you? How can you support us? And how are we going to make this a mutually beneficial relationship? Because I don't want someone just to put products on the shelf. It's a collaborative relationship and a partnership that we both are buying in on. So I had individual meetings, built out the space,
I'm
all that.
impressed. I mean, I've always been impressed, but like now breaking it down, I'm like, bro. So, who was the first person to say yes? Who was the first brand to say yes to you?
The first brand to say yes was the individual I've been buying hair oil from. She has a whole line of shampoo, oils, conditioner that I love. I love, love, love.
Nice.
And she was my first yes.
Nice. Who was your did anyone tell you like what are you doing? Like no, that's never been done before or did you get any doubters?
There's doubters in terms of like, so how is this gonna work? Like,
Mm.
tell me again, like break this down. And so a lot of people that were just like, I'm not ready.
Mm.
Yeah, in which I commend them on feeling that way. But what does that look like? What do you mean by you're not ready? Is it fear? Is it
Correct.
the fear that's taking over that makes you feel you're not ready, or is like your product not shelf ready? Are you really afraid about scaling? Like, what exactly is that? And some of those I was able to work with them on those concerns in order to get them ready per their mind. Because truthfully, I wasn't ready to own a retail store either. If we
Right.
talking about ready,
Right.
I'm like government, city, nonprofit girl.
Yes. And very structured, I would say.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you come from places like your work that like you've chosen career wise has been like you have a schedule and there's like processes and so
Hmm.
maybe that informs how you work now and coming from like let's just have conversations with people and like it did it feel discombobulated
Yes, because it was building the plane while flying is what I tell
literally
everyone. Building while flying, like I'm literally clocking in on my day job at the government, with which, as you said, every day is boom, boom, boom,
yeah
and I clock out of there, and I'm like, okay, who am I going to meet with today? Like, what entrepreneurs? What products are we missing? A point of sale system? What?
right
like,
right
like trying to figure it out as I'm flying. And I so appreciate every single business owner who entrusted me with their products at the beginning when I was trying to figure it out. And listen, we're hitting 2 years and I'm still trying to figure it out every single day. And I'm so grateful that I had those that bought into this mission and are on board. 17 entrepreneurs,
you launched with
17,
wow how many do you have now
66,
wow
60,
are you running
actually
out of shelf space
67 as of Monday.
that's awesome
67 as of Monday. Yeah, it's tight in there. So we're working on I'm working with someone to help me. How do I maximize my space in the shop so that I can have more brands, but everything still looks cohesive and in a retail manner. Um, that creates that environment that we're looking for when we're shopping. But I want to make sure everyone is properly highlighted and gets the right attention and space that they need to.
I love that. Okay, let's take a quick coffee break.
Sabrosura pa' ti que que.
So, Tasha, do you drink coffee? It's like Are you drinking jarritos? What?
Yeah.
Okay, they haven't sponsored yet, but maybe that would be an
Oh,
opportunity for them.
my
It's
bad.
fine. No, it's all. But that could be a good brand to sponsor Cafe Con Pam, actually. What
Yeah.
flavor are you drinking?
Fruit punch.
Mm, my favorite is guava. Have you had the guava flavor?
Not enough. Not enough people have carry it.
Oh, it is a rare one.
Yeah, the coffee shop literally downstairs in the basement. They have fruit punch and one other one.
Hmm. Okay.
It's clear. It's
Oh, it's the probably lime
yeah. Thank you. I don't
or
get
like
it,
the
so I'm like,
regular, like just fizzy water.
hmm.
Okay. Do you drink coffee? You do drink coffee.
I do drink coffee. I've been off and on with this coffee drinking, but I'm not a morning person, so it helps me get the gears going.
How do you drink your coffee?
Oh, lots of sugar, lots of cream, please.
So it's like milk and a
Yeah.
splash of
Uh-huh.
coffee.
Mhm.
Nice. Well, it's way past my coffee time, so I am drinking. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what I had today. So I've been on this cacao kick. So I'm
Mhm.
actually in a like apprenticeship. I don't know what you want to call it, to host cacao circles. And yeah, I've been really connecting with the plant. It's been super fun. And my teacher invited infusions. So she was like, look, cacao can be mixed with whatever you want. Like, I first started infusing it with coffee. So it would make my cacao with
Wow.
coffee. So it was like this mocha type of thing. But then she kicked this off. Like, she literally, like, she was like, I'm going to send you some stinging nettles, which is like literally a plant, because
Mhm.
that plant grows in her backyard. So it's like a funny story. So she was like, I live in La Mesa. I live in La Mesa, California. And so she was like, I live in La Mesa, and in my backyard, we grow stinging nettles, and they're great for anti inflammatory properties, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to send you some because they grew so much. And so I got the stinging nettles, and I licked the plant, and I'm like, I live in La Mesa. Let me go to my backyard. Lo and behold, I'm growing stinging nettles in the backyard,
What?
and it looks like a weed. Like, they're like wild. And so I've been like foraging stinging nettles, and so that kicked off my infusion journey. And now I infuse my cacao with like all kinds of plants, literally. Like,
Wow.
yeah, I basically like make myself a tea, and then that tea is what makes the cacao, and then later in the day I drink coffee. So yeah, all that to
I'm
say,
in
very
my
extra.
backyard. I have dandelions, and
Dandelion tea is great.
I know I've heard, but I don't know if all dandelions should be.
Yeah, but if you know, like, if it's your backyard, you don't do like any.
Well, it's not really my backyard. That's the thing. It's really just a
Oh,
yard that's back there.
in the back. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess I'm not an expert in foraging, but probably depends on what kind of soil and water.
Yeah, I have a coworker that actually is an expert in foraging. He's taken lots of classes and trips to forage. So I hear about
Wow.
it all of the time. Oh my goodness. They go to the lake and bring back, I don't even know, they're like these little green circle thingies. They peel, it's like a hard shell and it has beans in it. He makes soup and brings it back. Oh man.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's real. I didn't even, I don't know the half, but
Well, so
as I take more time to myself, I'm going to learn more about nature and enjoying those things.
yes, I invite that so much. Nature's cool. So this morning I had my cacao with my little infusion. This morning was goji berries and stinging nettles. That's why I had to share the story about the stinging nettles. Raspberry leaf, because I am working on my hormones and my womb, and fenugreek and milk thistle. We'll stop
I
there.
think so.
Yeah. So then I brewed my cacao, and it was like this nice little drinky drink.
And that's what you're drinking now?
No, right now I'm drinking like green tea, and it's like a is
Mm.
this it's actually it's four sigmatic, which I if you go to cafecompam.com/mushrooms, then it's they're like green. I just tried it, so that's why I'm not sure about it.
Oh, okay, okay,
But it's
okay.
like their gut green powder. That's what I'm drinking now.
Mm-hmm. Look, I'm just trying to get down with matcha right now. I'm just trying to,
Oh, matcha's great. That could be a
yeah.
great replacement for coffee, actually.
I've been working on it. That's what I've been doing with matcha. So
Especially if you do it with milk. If you do it with water, you might need some food before.
yeah, with water is a little bit grassy for me, but with milk, with maybe some oat or almond milk, because I'm trying to stay away from the milk. I'm lactose still.
Yes. I don't know if that ever changes.
I was hoping one day it would stop, but it's still here.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. We can always hope, but I don't know if that goes
Right.
away.
It's not
Well, though
going
I've
anywhere.
heard it has changed for people after they have babies.
Oh, well, it'll never change then.
You know, for you, yeah, I don't know. That's what I've heard from some. But again, this is all like people's tales, so there's no
Yeah,
evidence based.
absolutely.
Okay, let's go back to the show. Let's talk about something we all deserve: financial empowerment. Whether you're tackling debt, planning for retirement, or starting that dream business, navigating your finances can feel overwhelming. But it doesn't have to be, thanks to Savvy Ladies. Savvy Ladies is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping women like you take control of your financial future. They offer free resources, webinars, and my favorite, a free financial helpline where you can connect one on one with trusted financial experts. And yes, it's completely free. Whether you're just starting your financial journey or need guidance on a specific challenge, Savvy Ladies is here to provide quality and trusted advice you can count on. So why wait? Visit savvyladies.org today and connect with the financial helpline to get the personalized support you deserve. Your journey to financial independence starts here. That is savvyladies.org. Your path to financial freedom can start today. You know what's frustrating? Losing your wallet. And you know sometimes what's even more painful? Realizing your almost full punch card from your favorite cafecito spot is now gone. But at least, even when your cafecito points have vanished, at BMO, if you lose your debit card, they'll print you a new one instantly at a local branch. Plus, you can use your phone to freeze your debit card to prevent any unauthorized transactions. Learn more at bmo.com. Conditions apply. Accounts provided in the United States by BMO Bank and a member FDIC. So Tasha, something that it blew my mind is when you talked about the numbers, because and the stretch of the dollar. So let's break
Hmm.
that down, because that was
Hmm.
fascinating and that was mind
Hmm.
blowing and that was upsetting and frustrating and all the things. So I'm gonna read the statistics that you gave us first and then we'll talk about it. So on average, the black dollar stays in black communities for only 6 hours. Okay. The Latino dollar stays in Latino communities for about 7 days. So that stretches a little bit. However, the Asian dollar stays in Asian communities for about 30 days and the white dollar for 17 days. So Asian communities support Asian businesses longer than any other demographic. And black communities, or yeah, the black community supports black businesses for 6 hours. So tell me more about that, because I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, so I think we have to look at the barriers that historically that have been placed in the Black community. How many Black business owners do you know? How many Black businesses are we supporting that are accessible, that we're aware of? Because we think about how we're marketing them. How do we get to know them? In your family, if it's not your cousin or your cousin's not telling you word of mouth normally, then we're not aware of those businesses. And again, the lack of businesses due to all the challenges, the business loans that we have access to, right? The redlining from housing. I mean, the list goes on and on and on in that Black community compared to when we look at other communities that do have the access to to accessibility to get those loans, the accessibility to get financing and build houses and create generational wealth, pass down generational wealth, being having the mindset that we're actually a community and we're supporting one another. And how do we best do that? If we go and we get a store and we're going to work on this store until it's up and running and becomes profitable, and then we're all going to go take that profit and go build this stores.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mindset and that's the dynamic in other communities. And also, like I said, access to those resources, where in the Black community we don't have that. And if 2 out of 3 Black businesses are making it to their 5th year anniversary, when you become aware of a Black business, what's the likelihood that it's going to still be there if you don't support, or what's the likelihood it's going to be there because they can't go tap into the bank and go get that finance.
Yeah.
They don't have the resources to do huge marketing campaigns. We have social media now, which has been helpful a little bit, but not everybody's on there. You got to worry about your feed, your thread, who's going to see it. I mean, there's so many other factors that come into play when we have to look at the root of it, which is systemic racism. Systemically, we talk about, again, redlining and things of that sort that I believe play a part into all these numbers as well. But we don't have the places to go spend those dollars,
Mm,
and other communities do.
for sure. Is that why you chose to have a retail space? Is that kind of like foundationally, maybe?
Foundationally, yes. Again, going back to that 2 out of 3 with awareness and bringing all those things into bringing all those things into your frame of mind. But there's just so many challenges with getting our things on a shelf, whether
Yeah.
we don't have the stores. So we have to go beg someone else to put our things in their space.
Especially now with all these budgets being cut.
And when we're talking about, we look at what are the big box stores doing? They're drawing back on those DEI things. So when there was an event that happened, George Floyd situation happens, and we're all rooting. We want to get behind Black owned business owners. We're going to give you an opportunity, put you on the shelves. We're going to create initiatives so you have a better chance. It's not as challenging. We're going to remove those barriers. Black owned Black businesses, brands are like, yes, great. Thank you for giving us an opportunity. I'm going to scale my business 25, 30% so that I can meet your benchmarks in order to get my things there.
Mm.
And the first opportunity that they had to remove those initiatives, they removed those initiatives. Now we have Black owned businesses who are filing for bankruptcy because they scaled to meet the big benchmarks to get into a said store.
Mm-hmm.
And as quickly as they did that, those contracts were tore up and ripped up. And now they're filing bankruptcy.
Yeah, let's break that down because I don't know if a lot of people understand how that retail space work. And I used to sell to, like, I used to work an account, like it was my product, but I used to
Mhm.
work an account to one of those. I don't want to name names, but
Right?
it's one of those big, huge companies where you pay a membership to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so how it worked was, if you want your products on my floor, and this is literal conversations I had with the buyers. If you want your products on the floor, we're going to send you $1 million PO, $1 million purchase order.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get the $1 million purchase order, it's a net 60 pay, meaning you need to have enough product to fulfill $1 million, because the distribution, it's not for just one store. And sometimes they do, which is where the DI programs came in, where the DI programs were like, okay, we're going to work with businesses that maybe not equipped to fulfill $1 million order in 20 days, which is, or 15 days sometimes, but we'll cut it to 500K, a $500,000 PO, and we choose specific, um, what are they called? Locations where we're going to launch the product.
Mm-hmm.
When those programs get cut, we go back to, you need to be able, and sometimes it's like at least $1 million. This is,
Right.
10 years ago. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's probably
Right.
three. I don't know. And so that's where the barriers come in for businesses to show up in retail locations, because when you go to your local big box store and you're like, oh, I'm so glad they have this Black owned business, I think it's important to break down all the things that that business had to go through to have those products there, which is being able to fulfill those huge POs, being able to not get paid for 60 days, and also being able to invest in marketing. Because something that I don't think it's talked about, and I don't know if that every big box store does it, but we had to pay on top of the PO, on top of fulfilling the product first, we had to pay a percentage of the PO as marketing. So they could show up in the, like, online presence, banners, like whatever it is. So getting in the store is not like the
It's
win.
just it's just like one thing.
correct, because you still have to pay for your marketing basically, and you have to like tell everyone to like come by at the store because that will tell the store that people want it. It's a whole thing. And so this is why I think what you do is really powerful, because I think you're allowing people to not to still be in retail without having to break their business, because not a lot of people are at that place.
Right. And for some people that aren't really familiar with retail, that means that they're producing more. That means I'm scaling my business. So I only produce this 100 widgets a month. Now, in order to get into this space, based on their contract, I have to produce 1,000 widgets a month.
Right. And where's the capital that you don't get paid for months?
You don't get paid for months. And I've ran into some people who have to call like, "Hey, do you remember the invoice I sent you 6 months ago? You mind sending?" I mean, I've already spent the time creating the product, got the bottles, all the goods,
Mm-hmm.
the supplies, and invested in creating those products. But now you're going to pay me 60 days, 6 months, whenever you feel like it. Because you remember, you're calling account managers at large companies. You're not the only account.
Right.
Imagine how many accounts a large box store has that they're trying to swift through all that. And then also, when you said the marketing, you see like Essence Festival. I've been to Essence Festival, any large festivals where you see these companies are highlighted there. Those companies, more than in most cases, paid to be there.
Yeah.
And that box store is encouraging you, hey, we really want you to be a part of here. We win, it'll be $10,000
Yes. It's a
on
commercial.
top of it. And I want you to give away X amount of your product for free.
Yes. On top of, and then you have to travel the team, you have to set up the booth. It has to be high quality because, you know, thousands of people will
Be
be
there.
there. And
This is your
so,
one shot. This is your shot. So then you got to pay. They don't just get there and think, oh, let me come over here. Now you got to have all your marketing stuff on point.
mhm.
So I mean, this bill is racking up, and then at the first opportunity, I can draw back. I can pull the rug from under your feet. I mean, I have at least three companies that have been in those large stores, and their contracts have been canceled. And although we can do what we can at the Black Print to bring them in and introducing them to our audience, unfortunately, sometimes it's not enough.
Yeah, because it's thousands of products probably.
And they've scaled so much to get into locations across the country.
Oh, and then they have to, you like, I'm sure, because we had to pay for the truck to get the products there, take the products back. That's the other thing that, and again, I can only speak for my experience. I don't know if every contract is like that, but at the end of the year, I believe, whatever didn't sell, we took it back.
Yeah.
And so this $1 million PO or $3 million, like whatever it was, it wasn't like, it was all, it was a facade, because ultimately at the end, it was like, all right, if we paid you for 1 million products and we paid you the $1 million just to like keep the numbers easy, but you only sold 800,000, then we need the 200,000 back. For a
Hmm.
small business, that could break you totally.
Completely break you. And I've had these conversations. I'm fortunate, but it really opened my eyes to how they operate. Like a lot of times, I thought this was a great idea because of the challenges I seen, but I didn't even know and recognize the challenges of that entrepreneur that are dealing with those accounts and stuff.
Yeah.
So honestly, this year I've spent so much more time meeting with them, and just even if it's a little bit of encouragement, I can do what I can do and we can purchase here. But what it's also allowed me to do is be a connector,
Mm.
because although I can only do so much at my store, I work and know so many other brick and mortar owners. So I'm helping connect them to these entrepreneurs as well. Maybe I can only buy an allotment of 15. This store can do 15, that store. So building those relationships and helping them um, be a word of mouth. We have, again, so many great entrepreneurs that aren't getting the chance to be on shelves. So it behooves me if I hold all that
Mm-hmm.
to myself, but how can I now connect you to other people and maybe all together as a community? we're going to do what we can to keep you moving
Yeah,
and keeping that boat rolling. But that's been my mission really this year, is to help get now these brands into other spaces as well,
I love
and try to
that.
use a proximity thing. Of course you don't want to saturate a certain area, with this disease, but it's really been a great opportunity to meet people where they are and to see how we can support and create a movement more than just a retail store.
Yeah, and loyalty, and increase the 6 hours to 45 days.
Right, right, absolutely. And then that, I mean, we don't want these businesses, we don't want to keep this statistics of 2 out of 3 businesses making it 5 years. We don't want to keep that going. We don't definitely don't want to see it increase, but we also don't want to allow a political motivated situation to continue to impact our small business owners who have given so much of their time, so much of their energy, their creativity. They're bringing all these great things, and we just continually let them down by not supporting them and
Mm-hmm.
supporting their brands and helping keep the momentum going when we are doing so good and being innovative.
Agreed. So, what's the next goal for the Black Print? What does ICT mean?
Oh, ICT is our area code, or I'm sorry, not our area code, our airport code in Wichita.
Oh,
I and also I've been in a couple groups that we've created. It's in community together.
oh, I love that.
Yes. So in Wichita, I know, like, coming from Kansas City, nobody's like Joe's Smoke Shop MCI, which is the
Right.
airport code in Kansas City. But in Wichita, it's so prevalent that a lot of businesses and a lot of movements have ICT on there. So
Hmm.
we kind of join that wagon. But I love the thought of it standing for in community together, because that's exactly what we're doing, is building a community here. So you asked what's next, and that's it. Taking it from just, I spent those first really year and a half on building the retail space, getting those brands on there, helping to expand, building systems that make it work. Because although there are a lot fewer barriers for people to get in, we also have expectations for everyone to make sure that we're upkeeping this mutually beneficial relationship. But now we're going beyond the four walls, in that we're bringing attention and awareness to the other Black owned brick and mortars in our space.
Nice.
So we've done things like having a bus tour where we go around to those different
How
businesses.
fun.
I know it
I
was
want to
super
do a
fun.
bus tour in San Diego. Can I take that?
Um, Please, it's yours. It's ours.
Let's do it. How fun.
I know we had brunch and we got a lot of community support behind that, and got sponsors to pay for the bus, for swag bags, for all the things. We had brunch, a good brunch, like chicken and waffles and bacon and eggs
Oof.
and fruit. I know.
Yes.
Good food, mimosas, and
Mm-hmm.
then people loaded on buses, and there are 5 businesses that's within probably a mile radius. And so we created like a shuttle system through those businesses in November to get people geared up for Christmas shopping.
I love that.
Yes, so that was fun, and that's the type of movement that I want to. The next stage in creating this movement is to bring awareness, bring attention, but make it in a creative and innovative way. I mean, we can put out marketing and say, "Don't forget to shop here," but really, how do we get people in the door? We need
Mm-hmm.
people in the door. Once you know about it, once you see all the great things that you can do, from making hand poured candles to, we had some beauty and lock specialists on there, Black owned bookstore, coffee shop, cheesecake factory, which is delicious,
Yeah.
and all that good stuff. When people get out there and they're more aware of it, they will be there to support.
Correct. Have you noticed an increase in, like, have your business owners that you work with shared an increase in sales and loyalty, customer loyalty?
Absolutely. So we started with that. Then we've done 2 walking tours since then, since
Mm-hmm.
November. And they definitely have noticed the impact of that traffic, and how many people walk in the doors like, oh my gosh, I never knew. And so we have a running joke now, because on one of them, that's what the person said. You need to call this "I Never Knew" tour, because like
Yes.
we're just doing we have some great businesses that are always on board to open their doors, doing giveaways, doing what they can to support one another. And that's the other thing. Is as business owners, as entrepreneurs, how can we support each other?
Mm-hmm.
We have the J months when traffic is slow. So how can we collaborate to do some type of events to keep people coming in, to engage people, to market each other's businesses? When I'm out doing a pop-up, hey, do you have some flyers I can throw in the bags with my we're not in competition with each other.
Totally.
So to raise this 6 hours in our community, we've got to find ways as a community to lift all tides rise together, I think is the quote.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to find a way to do that. And collaboration has shown and proven to be one of those ways that we can do it. So moving forward, that's what we want to do. Continue to collaborate, continue to create events, create safe spaces, and grow those numbers, offering brands a permanent, supportive home where they can be introduced into the community, that values their creativity and not try to diminish it by undercutting their prices, supporting them full price.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's another thing. Don't ask for it. No haggling.
No haggling. You don't go anywhere else and haggle. Don't
Correct.
haggle your friends. Don't haggle your friends.
Yes. Pay full price. Indeed. Indeed. Um, what about a franchise? Is the Black Print going to become a franchise? I could see it.
Well,
I could see it.
so we're working on some things right now. We're doing w- our franchising is helping get those products in other spaces as well.
Mm,
We have some people, businesses reach out like, I love what you're doing. Do you want to be in this space and that space? And what I always am welcome to do is curate a gift shop for anyone. So we can call it franchise adjacent, but
yes. A licensing.
yeah, you will see our products and the brands that we have in other spaces where we curate a gift shop, with the brands that we work with specifically for their location, specifically for their target audience. We're also doing a lot of corporate gifting. So
Mm,
we're working with realtors and lenders on welcome home gifts for their clients. There's all Black owned, locally made products, creating a nice gift basket for them with that. That's an option that's going to be released soon on the website. And working with corporate organizations that want to gift to their employees. It's Teacher Appreciation Day. We're creating a lot of those giftings because why not curate a specially handmade gift basket that's not also very nice, but it's also
mm-hmm.
supporting a meaningful mission?
100%. And it like when I get gifts that are like from your local whatever, I'm like, card saved, and I'm going to
Yes.
give the next gift from that person.
Absolutely. And that's exactly that energy we're trying to spread throughout the city. Is that, imagine this 6 hours, this 7 days, that 30 days, that 17 days being stretched longer because we are keeping our money at home and in our communities
100%.
instead of always leaning towards convenience or what we think is quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Hmm. Yeah, agreed. So, Tasha, this has been fun. Tell us all the places and spaces where we can find you.
Yes, I'm on Facebook, Instagram at the Black Print ICT or Black Print ICT. Website is blackprintict.com. Please follow us, like, share, keep in touch. We have some cool things we're going to be rolling out soon. And remember the statistics on that when you're going to spend your dollar. Invest in your community's small local businesses. It's going to create a lasting impact.
100%. You know what I do? And I'm going to share this to invite listeners to consider doing this. Sometimes I go to, like, in my case, is Chicano Park. So it's the barrio, it's like it's a Latino neighborhood. And I shop for things that I think, oh, I could gift this. And
Hmm.
so I just kind of have like a stash in my house of things that I've purchased that are like like it's their brand, they're from that day when I purchased them. So when like there's a birthday or I'm going to meet with somebody or whatever, I already have something and I don't have to like, oh my gosh, I have to make my way there. To piggyback on your comment of convenience, make it convenient,
Hmm.
like invest in the neighborhood or in the local businesses, and then like have a little drawer of gifts. And it's super fun because then sometimes I'm like, oh, like recently my friend had a birthday and I went into my little box and I found some earrings from a local person and I was like, oh, she's gonna love these, you know?
Hmm.
So that's my invite to everyone.
Yes, it's so fun. I mean, I don't go to a box store and get understand the value behind this product or whatever I'm buying. But when you're buying local, you know where they're from. You can see their stories, hear their stories, understand the brand story. I mean, I'm just invested in the product more now. I'm utilizing it with joy. Like, ooh, I know Shay made the Shea butter. You know, it's just I feel the
In her
connection.
kitchen.
But it is clean and safe to use.
That's
Don't you
right.
worry.
And it works. And skin is moisturized.
There we go. And you, most of the time, you know what's in it.
Exactly. And if you don't, you can ask. That's the thing.
Absolutely. That's the thing because a lot of this other stuff, we don't know what's in it. We're not sure
Mm-hmm.
what we're using.
Mm-hmm. There's well, I guess they're local. So they're in Julian. So I'm in San Diego. They're in Julian, which is like a next city. And it's funny because they're a husband wife, and he's the formulator for like all these skin products, and
Mm-hmm.
she's the one that goes and vends basically. And I got a face mask, like a powdered something for like to make a face mask. And so and I was like, so she gave me a sample of something else and she was like, okay, I'm gonna give you a sample because you buy from me, so like I want you to try it, tell me like how you feel. And I'm like, but what's in it? And she's like, I don't know yet, because he makes things and then he's like, go try it out, and then he like breaks down the formula. And
Right.
okay,
Right.
I mean, as long as it works, I'll tell you how I feel. But I know, I
Mm-hmm.
trust that it's safe.
Right, absolutely. And that's the thing. And that's really why I started buying a lot of these local made products is because I have sensitive skin, I have PCOS, and I can't be using all those chemicals and things on my skin.
Hmm.
So I started using local and I've just fallen in love and there's no turning back.
There's no turning back, indeed. Last few questions. Do you have a remedy you want to share with us?
A remedy I want to share with you. So if you a remedy, I want to make it correlated to the business, but I'm going to talk about something that mama taught me is you drink ginger ale and you eat those saltine crackers if your stomach hurts. So if you're eating things that upset your stomach, rely on that. I promise it'll get you through every time.
I think it does work.
See?
It does. And I don't know what I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the science behind it, but it's one of those things that do work.
But it's a combination. You have to have both.
It has to be both, indeed. Yes. Do you have a quote or mantra you live by?
Absolutely. My quote that I live by is my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive and to do so with some compassion, some humor, and some style.
I love that.
By Maya Angelou.
The one and only. Do you have a productivity tip, trick, or tool you want to share with us?
Productivity tip, trick, or tool is the rule of three or the
Mm.
power of three. So start your day with your top three priorities. These priorities may be something that you may be like, I really don't want to do this. But if you start your day with those and get those out the way, you can keep on moving and pushing through the rest of the day because those things that I was really hesitant and didn't want to accomplish, I've already knocked those out the way. The world is mine, baby.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And the last question: how are you taking a restorative pause today?
By preparing for my 10-day unplug.
Are we taking a 10-day sabbatical?
We are. It starts on
Starting when?
Well, it starts Sunday. I'm a pre-start Saturday though.
Okay.
Yes, my paw unplug is going to take place in Aruba, and I am so excited. So
What? That's
I
fun.
know. I'm so excited. I have not taken an intentional pause, unplug since I've opened the store, and I am so excited. I am so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. That's awesome.
I know.
And how do you feel about leaving the store?
I'm a little anxious about it, honestly, but I am at peace with the fact that whatever happens happens while I'm gone. I mean, as long as everyone's safe and no one nothing's harmed, I am good. I am ready. I am so ready. I just have a few more things to tie up, and I'm on my way.
I love that. I thought about one of my
Yes,
clients who's like, when I'm like, how do you feel about leaving your business? And she's like, I'm insured. And I'm like, all right, let's
that
go.
that that's exactly what my friend and I talked about. She said, "So what's the deductible?" I'm like,
Right, right,
"What's?"
right.
I was like, "I'm good. I'm good. I'm
We
good."
got this.
Yeah, maybe I'm just trying to amp myself up. Like I'm good. Oh God, I'm really scared.
I'm sure once you get there, you're going to be able to breathe and be like, it's
Yeah,
done. It's fine.
it is.
Yay.
It's gonna be great.
Well, thank you, Tasha, for coming to Cafe Con Pam. This was fun.
Thank you. So good to catch up.
Likewise. Bueno, that was my convo with Tasha. Let me know what you think about this episode. Screenshot tag us on all the places and spaces at Cafe Con Pam Podcast. If you are on YouTube, leave us a comment below. Tag whoever you think will enjoy this conversation. Share it with the people you love. That goes a long way because as an indie podcast that doesn't have access to a lot of resources, that's a great way to support the show and to show a little bit of appreciation. We do a lot of work to make this happen, and we have a team and we use resources. And so, an easy way for you to support us is to share, leave a review, leave a rating, drop a comment, screenshot and tag. Tell us all the things. If you are interested in learning more about my work, head over to cafecompam.com. We are currently in the middle of sharing more about Un Verano con Self-Love. Entonces, go to veranoconselflove.com. It's going to be all in the show notes. You can click on it, sign up. There's some pre-work. It's going to be a great, beautiful, fun program, especially now as we experience a lot of harm, a lot of trauma, a lot of silencing. This is a time for us to resist it with, why not with self love? Why not? And so, Verano con Self Love, sign up. There are some free resources there for you, and there's going to be an opportunity to work together this summer. Why not? Super fun. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Nos vemos pronto y como siempre, stay shining.
Sabrosura pa' ti que